So sorry, we went off on a really long tangent about giving, but you had started a conversation. You were saying that you were in the car, you had rolled over something. The people then said that they ain't no patch. First of all, I don't know how they didn't have a patch. Okay. And so then you go to the
And then
second
he was
place.
trying to tell me that I can do it myself. He would do it for me for free if he had. There was a lot that he was saying a lot of stuff, and I was just like, just tell me where I can go. Yeah. So, anyways, it's funny because I feel like you just stole my story because as I rolled out of there, I was actually driving, thinking about giving, meditating on it, and meditating on all the times my mother had called me and told me, guess what happened today? It was always a story about being stranded and somebody saving
Right.
me. Always, always. Oh,
Basically.
you wouldn't believe my
Basically.
battery died, and then I couldn't roll into the Publix because, and then somebody stopped, and then
She didn't have a phone. This is back in the day. Didn't nobody have no
can you
no
believe it?
cell phone.
Our mom
Who
like
you gonna
did not
call?
have a cell phone, and she was out there on the mean streets of Broward County, going
Who you gonna
everywhere,
call?
everywhere, everywhere. There's no
Not
place.
the Ghostbuster.
Huh? You said what?
I said, "Who you gonna call?" I said, "Not the Ghostbusters."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's nobody to call. The only time there was a call is when she made it back to the house at night and could pick up the. You see what I'm saying? Like, the
The
house phone.
landline. Pick up the landline to call Bell South. I can't. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. So like almost always, yeah. When we talk, the conversation would be like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened today."
Uh-huh.
Something. Yeah. So I was literally just thinking about that situation, all those times when people just blessed my mother and just found her, helped her, how they, were just really generous. And how that blessed me and how as I give, you know, especially with that situation when I was saying that, that woman gave me like this pushback. It's like you don't even realize like it's like I can't even give enough to pay back. You know what I mean? And let me not get emotional about it. But it's like there's just such a people say pay it forward. There's just such a ripple effect. It's like I love the ability to give, because of all the times that people care for my mom, and gave to her. It's like, what can I do to repay like all those strangers? So it is an honor. It is a blessing to me to be able to do it. It is not. Anyways, I think that's also why I got in my feelings when that woman like rejected it. I'm just like, my mom is at these bus stops. You know what I mean? This is her sitting at the bus stop, resting her legs, because she missed the connection. She got there 2 minutes late.
Mr. Number Two connection.
She missed the connection and it's hot. And she's like, I gotta rest my leg because, all that. So I was just like, lady, you know what? Whatever. So here I am thinking all of this. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, there's something wrong with this tire. Like, it don't feel low. It's like on the left, just like, I'm driving a van. I was like, it don't feel low, but something's wrong. So I like literally pull into, I've got the navigation going. So I pull into like there's a turning lane. I was like, let me just pull over and like open the door and just look out. I was like, this tire was flat. I was like, ah! And then I look at the navigation, like, how far before I get to this new tire place? And I was like, a minute, 1 mile, and then like 1.6 miles. I was just like, okay, Korean guys, it's what do I do? And I just took a deep breath, because it's not my car. And I haven't had a car in a while. And back when I had a car, I had problem cars, so I always had AAA. I always had, it's like I had that. I was living that life, of car malfunctions and stuff like that. And I just God has retired me from that lifestyle. So now I'm just like,
Amen. Amen.
what do I do? Here I am like feeling
So
helpless.
basically, you're driving and then you see that you're like, something doesn't feel right. You roll down the window and you see the car's flat, the wheel's flat,
I didn't
the
even roll down
tire's
the
flat.
window. I opened the door because I was able to just move into just cracked open the door, and I was just like, "What is going on?" And I
This
was
is
just
not my
like,
person.
I said, Trudy, I literally sat there for like 60 seconds, and I just said, I was actually confused, and I was just like, Lord, I'm on a fast. Like none of this actually makes sense. And honestly, I mean, I don't know how y'all roll, but when anything bad happens to me, I'm just like, how? How did bad things happen to me? Like there was a time that my purse got stolen or whatever, and I was like, how, Lord, what in the world? How? I was like, did somebody just steal from me? We found my purse. Imagine it was like that person actually brought it back because but the whole
Mm.
time before.
That's it. You gotta share that story on
Oh yeah,
another
that's
day. I'm
another
sure
story. But so
people
here I
will
am. I'm
really
just
understand.
like, I was like, this don't add up. Fasting and some like the car tire, like, and I'm sitting out here and I just don't know what to do. Mind you, it's like it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not like it was late at night or anything. And there's some
Right,
like
right, right,
it's not like I was unsafe or anything. I
right.
couldn't handle the situation as just
Mhm.
stunned for a while. And so then I was just like, okay. Then I called the tire
For
place, like,
60
oh
seconds.
man, do y'all have something? I was like, I was just on my way to see you guys. Okay, what do I do? And he's like, yeah,
Right.
sorry. And I was like, so you guys busy? He's like, no, we're not busy. We'll see you when you get here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, my side hurts. And then I was like, okay, let me call AAA. It's like,
Mm.
hey guys, I used to be a member, but I'm not, I don't really think,
I remember right
I know
now.
I'm not a member. I've been a member in like some 7 years. And so I was like, yeah, maybe you can look me up. And
Giving you
I
maybe
honestly,
you can get a member discount.
I don't know how
I
much it
think
costs. And I was thinking, it's like, maybe I should call my sister. And it's like, no, I'm not going to bother them. And so she's like taking all my information, asking, okay, where are you located? It's the corner of what's the landmarks? And what do you see? Like, are there any businesses? Like just going through I'm trying to get to the price. I'm really trying to get her to tell me how much is this going
how
to
much is it,
cost? You know what I'm saying?
basically.
Like, but she's asking
Mhm.
all this information and stuff, and I'm just being patient, and it's hot. It's really, really hot. Um, and didn't have that much gas. But anyway, whole other story. So
Uh-oh.
I'm having this conversation with her on the phone, and then all of a sudden, I see this Ford F-150 pull up behind me, and in the rear view, I was just like, so I'm having this conversation, and then then real quick, I see a dude like walk up besides my window, kind of look, and he's like, "You don't need roadside. I'll fix it. I'll handle it." And I was just like, and I think the lady could hear it too. And I was just like, oh yeah. And she's just like, yeah. So yeah, so I'm still trying to answer her questions and still trying to like deal with this guy. And I was just like, okay. So I'm now trying to figure out how I can get off the phone. He's like, oh, you got a spare? And I was like, I don't know, because she's asking me the same thing, and he's asking me the same thing. And I'm like, I gotta end this conversation nicely, because and you know what I mean? Because now I'm maintaining two conversations because he's like trying to help me right now. And I was like, can I call you back? And she's just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just save your file or whatever. I was like, thank you.
Mhm, mhm,
So now I
mhm.
hop out, and he's asking me questions. Where's the spare? Let's, goes in the back. It's a van. We have no idea where to find the spare tire. And I'm just like, I mean, I think there's this. Actually, I think I told him I don't know if there's a spare. I don't think there's a spare. We lift up stuff but can't find it. It was like this big ordeal. And he's like, you know what? It's like he didn't want to be too intrusive. He's like, can you just maybe grab the manual from the glove compartment? I grab it. He's reading it. And, we literally, then it's like now trying to like move, you know, the chairs out the way. And, to me, it was just, we were novices because obviously we don't know how to find anything. He found the spare. Then we found the jack, and then we couldn't find that lever, that thing to that you use or whatever. And so now he's in his car trying to see if he has something, and he tells me, why don't you read the manual and just see, maybe you might. It's like, I didn't have my glasses, so maybe you can see, maybe there might be something that says where it is. And I'm like, I don't think it's here. What are we going to do? So I'm like studying it, and then I'm looking in the grooves in the side, and I was just like, there's a groove here, And then I was like, oh, and then I turned over one panel and it was actually in there. So I was like, oh, look at God. And I showed it to him. He's like, good job. Yeah. Man, this guy, Wayne Salter, thank you, man. He changed my tire. It was hot. He was dripping sweat. It was so hot. He changed, put the spare on. And it's interesting because as he was like doing that, I was just like, man, I actually ended up telling him how, I was actually in the process of just, going through these thoughts about my mom and all the people who kind of helped her. And he was just kind of surprised, like, oh, wow, that's what you're thinking when this happened. And I was just like, I should actually pray for him. But I just have this thing about public prayer, it's, you know, the thought came to mind. I was like, I should pray for him. And it wasn't until the end when he actually told me that he actually had a need. And I was like, okay, now I should pray. And so we actually ended up praying together and, sharing some things together. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. I mean, who knew, that he's a believer, I'm a believer, and that we can actually um, be able to help each other, like that God actually gave us a moment to be able to be of service to each other, to actually be able to meet each other's right now needs. So that was actually
Right.
just an amazing thing. And for me, like when I came out of that situation, I was able to go get to the new tire shop, fix everything, was able to get on my way and do whatever it is I wanted to do. But as I kept driving that day, I was just like, thank God for men.